Welcome to After Hour Mysteries. In today's video, we are going to dive deep into Fall Asleep to the Lost City of Atlantis, the ancient civilization that vanished overnight. In this tale, we'll dive deep into the heart of a society that thrived against the backdrop of the ocean, only to be swallowed by its own hubris. Prepare to explore the beauty, the brilliance, and the harrowing fall of a civilization poised on the brink of disaster. What secrets lie beneath the waves? Join us as we uncover the truth, illuminating the lessons of the past that still resonate today. In a realm where the ocean sparkles with promise and mystery, the city of Atlantis thrives, a magnificent marvel of innovation and culture that captivates the imagination. Its gleaming towers rise majestically against the azure sky, their intricate designs reflecting the artistry and ingenuity of a civilization that has flourished for centuries. The streets pulse with the vibrant energy of its citizens, each one a vital thread in the rich tapestry of life that weaves through the heart of the city. Markets brim with the sounds of laughter and chatter as merchants hawk their wares, from delicate pottery adorned with intricate patterns to vibrant fabrics that flutter in the warm sea breeze. The aroma of exotic spices fills the air, mingling with the salty tang of the ocean, creating a sensory symphony that envelops all who wander its bustling pathways. Children chase one another through the narrow lanes, their laughter ringing like music, while artisans display their crafts, proudly showcasing the fruits of their labor. But beneath this shimmering facade lies an undercurrent of unease, dark whispers echoing through the currents of the sea. Elysia, a passionate scholar with a thirst for knowledge, stands at the edge of the great harbor, her heart heavy as she senses an unsettling shift in the tides, the kind of shift that warns of a storm brewing far below the surface. As she gazes out over the vast expanse of water, her intuition prickles with foreboding. The ocean, once a source of inspiration and wonder, now feels like a restless beast, shifting uneasily beneath the weight of secrets. While exploring the bustling markets, Elysia encounters Thalion, a gifted engineer whose ambitious seawall project is designed to protect their beloved city from the unpredictable nature of the sea. With his tousled hair and earnest eyes, he embodies the spirit of innovation that defines Atlantis. Their eyes meet, and for a fleeting moment, the world around them fades into a soft blur, leaving only the magnetic connection that sparks between them. Together, they share dreams of a future where Atlantis stands invincible against the whims of nature, a beacon of hope and resilience in a world fraught with uncertainty. As they revel in their hopes, exchanging visions of grand designs and a city that thrives in harmony with the ocean, the shadows of uncertainty loom, larger, hinting at the trials that lie ahead. Elysia can't shake the feeling that time is slipping away, that the balance they cherish is fragile, and that the very foundations of their civilization may be tested in ways they cannot yet comprehend. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a palpable tension settled over the city of Atlantis. The citizens, once filled with the carefree spirit of the day, now moved with an undercurrent of unease, their laughter replaced by hushed conversations and exchanged glances laden with concern. Elysia, with her keen intuition, felt this shift keenly, a heavy weight pressing upon her chest as she wandered through the twilight streets. The vibrant colours of the sunset contrasting sharply with the grey clouds that seemed to gather on the horizon. Rumours of strange occurrences had begun to swirl like the winds that swept through the city. Fishermen, once the pride of Atlantis, spoke in worried tones of dwindling catches and unsettling changes in the ocean's currents. The bountiful seas that had sustained them for generations were now acting unpredictably. Ships returning from distant shores reported eerie sightings, clouds forming in unnatural shapes, and an unsettling silence enveloping the waters, as if the sea itself was holding its breath. As the sun sank lower, the elders of Atlantis, usually a source of wisdom and guidance, were now gathering in secret, their brows furrowed with concern as they deliberated the implications of these ominous omens. Elysia felt an irresistible pull toward the great hall, where the council of elders convened. The hall, a grand structure with towering columns and intricate mosaics depicting the illustrious history of Atlantis, buzzed with a sense of urgency and trepidation. As she entered, she caught snippets of conversation. Words like danger, disaster, and prophecy floated through the air, igniting her curiosity. And fear. Each word felt like a stone dropped into the still waters of her mind, creating ripples of anxiety. She knew she had to learn more to understand the forces at play that threatened the very foundations of their beloved city. Thalion, the gifted engineer who had been tirelessly working on his seawall project, soon joined her at the hall. His expression was grave, mirroring the unease that had settled over Elysia. He leaned in closer, his voice low and urgent, almost a whisper. "I've been monitoring the tides," he said, his brow knitted with concern. "The fluctuations are more extreme than ever. If we don't act quickly, we could be facing catastrophic flooding that could engulf the city in a matter of hours." Elysia nodded, her heart racing at the implications of his words. The seawall, once a symbol of hope and protection, now felt like a fragile barrier against an impending storm, vulnerable to the wrath of nature. Determined to uncover the truth, armed with a sense of purpose, Elysia and Thalion decided to seek out the Oracle, a revered figure known for her visions and insights that were said to bridge the gap between the mortal realm and the divine. The Oracle resided in a temple on the outskirts of Atlantis, shrouded in mystery and surrounded by ancient trees that whispered secrets of the past. As they made their way through the winding paths, the atmosphere grew heavier, the air thick with anticipation and the scent of damp earth. Elysia's mind raced with questions. What did the Oracle foresee? What dark truths lay hidden beneath the surface? Was their fate already sealed, or could they alter the course of destiny? When they finally reached the temple, they found the Oracle seated in a dimly lit room, illuminated by flickering candles, their flames dancing like spirits in the stillness. The air crackled with energy, a palpable tension that seemed to vibrate in harmony with Elysia's heartbeat as they approached. Oracle, draped in flowing robes adorned with ancient symbols, opened her eyes, revealing a depth of wisdom and sorrow that belied her age. "You seek answers," she said, her voice echoing softly in the quiet chamber, each word heavy with significance. "But be warned, the truth may not be what you wish to hear." Elysia felt a chill run down her spine, a mixture of fear and determination bubbling within her. What could the Oracle reveal about the fate of Atlantis? What dark omens lurked on the horizon, ready to strike? Elysia and Thalion exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between them. They were ready to face whatever revelations awaited them, knowing that the future of their city and their own lives hung precariously in the balance. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on the temple walls as Elysia and Thalion stood before the Oracle, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of incense, a blend of sweet herbs and spices that seemed to heighten their senses. Elysia felt as though the very walls were alive, absorbing the weight of their questions and fears. The Oracle's gaze pierced through the dimness, as if she could see not just their faces but the very essence of their souls, reading the doubts and hopes that lay hidden within. "You seek knowledge of the future, yet the future is a tapestry woven from countless threads of choice." The Oracle began, her voice resonating with a melodic cadence that both soothed and unsettled them. Her words flowed like water, each syllable carrying the weight of wisdom passed down through generations. Each decision creates ripples that can alter the course of destiny. What you must understand is that the fate of Atlantis does not rest solely in prophecy. It is shaped by the courage and resolve of its people. Elysia's heart quickened at her words, realizing that they held the power to change their fate, to steer the course of their history, if only they dared to act. "But there are forces at play that you cannot ignore," the Oracle continued, her expression shifting to one of grave concern. "A great imbalance stirs beneath the waves, an ancient power awakening from its slumber. It is said that the heart of Atlantis beats in rhythm with the ocean, and when that rhythm is disturbed, calamity follows. The signs you have observed are but a whisper of the storm that approaches. The tides themselves are restless, foreshadowing the chaos that lies ahead." Elysia's mind raced, the implications of the Oracle's words crashing over her like a tidal wave. An ancient power? What could it be? And how could they confront it before it was too late? Thalion stepped forward, his brow furrowed with determination and the weight of responsibility. "What must we do to protect Atlantis? How can we restore balance?" His voice was low, filled with urgency and a fierce resolve that resonated with Elysia. The Oracle regarded him with a mix of admiration and caution, her eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight. "You must seek the source, the sacred heart of the ocean, where the energy of Atlantis flows strongest. It is there that you will find the answers you seek, but the path will be fraught with challenges and trials that will test your spirit and resolve. You will need to unite the people, to rally their strength and resolve. Only together can you hope to face the darkness that threatens your city. Elysia felt a surge of hope at the oracle's words. The idea of uniting the citizens of Atlantis, of drawing upon their collective strength, filled her with a sense of purpose and urgency. "We will do it," she declared, her voice steady and filled with determination. "We will rally our people and seek the source. But how do we find it? Where do we even begin?" The oracle's gaze softened, and she reached for a small, intricately carved stone from the table beside her, its surface shimmering with a faint luminescence that seemed to pulse with its own life. "This will guide you," she said, placing it gently in Elysia's palm. "It is a crystal of direction, attuned to the energies of the ocean and the very essence of Atlantis itself. Trust in its guidance, and it will lead you to the source. But beware, for not all who seek the truth are benevolent. You will encounter those who would seek to thwart your efforts, shadows lurking in the light of your intentions." Elysia's heart raced as she felt the weight of the crystal in her hand, a tangible reminder of the journey ahead and the responsibility that rested on her shoulders. "Thank you, Oracle," she said, her voice filled with gratitude and determination. "We will not take this lightly. We will protect Atlantis, no matter the cost." With a sense of urgency, Elysia and Thalion left the temple, the oracle's words echoing in their minds as they stepped back into the twilight of the city. Outside, the night sky was a canvas of stars, twinkling like diamonds scattered across a velvet expanse, casting a gentle glow over the city. Elysia felt a renewed sense of purpose pulsing through her veins, a fire igniting in her heart. They would need to gather their allies, reach out to those who believed in the future of Atlantis and the power of unity. As they walked through the streets, Elysia could see the flickering lights of homes and hear the distant sounds of laughter, a reminder of what was at stake. She felt a profound connection to her city, a bond that transcended the fears swirling around them. "We need to speak to the elders," Thalion suggested, his voice filled with urgency as they navigated the bustling streets, their minds racing with plans. "They have the influence to rally the citizens. If we can inspire them with a vision of hope and resilience, we can create a united front against the darkness that threatens us." Elysia nodded in agreement, her mind racing with strategies and possibilities. Together, they hurried to the great hall, the crystal pulsing gently in her palm, guiding them toward their destiny. As they approached the great hall, the majestic structure loomed before them, its intricate architecture a testament to the skill and artistry of their ancestors. The entrance was flanked by towering statues of ancient heroes, their expressions fierce and resolute, as if urging Elysia and Thalion onward. Inside, the grand chamber was filled with the hushed murmurs of the elders, their faces lined with worry, reflecting the gravity of the situation. Elysia felt a surge of determination wash over her as she stepped forward, ready to share the oracle's revelation and ignite the spark of hope in their hearts. The great hall was alive with a low hum of conversation as Elysia and Thalion entered, the atmosphere thick with tension and anticipation. The elders of Atlantis, a council of wise and venerable leaders, sat in a semicircle at the front of the chamber, their expressions a mix of concern and curiosity. Ornate banners adorned the walls, each depicting the rich history and accomplishments of their civilization. But today, those images felt overshadowed by the looming threat that hung over them like a dark cloud. The air was charged with the weight of unspoken fears, and the flickering torches cast long shadows that danced across the marble floor, mirroring the uncertainty that filled the chamber. Elysia's heart raced as she scanned the faces of the elders, each one a pillar of strength and knowledge. Their robes flowed around them like the tides of the ocean, each elder representing a different aspect of Atlantean culture, wisdom, strength, artistry, and valor. Some were deep in discussion, their voices a blend of worry and strategizing, while others appeared lost in thought, staring into the distance as if searching for answers in the very fabric of the hall itself. The atmosphere was thick with the scent of polished wood and the faint aroma of the incense still lingering from ceremonies past. Thalion squeezed her hand reassuringly, a silent reminder that they were in this together and that their resolve would be tested in the moments to come. Taking a deep breath, Alicia stepped forward, gathering her courage as she prepared to address the council. She could feel the weight of their gazes upon her, each elder a guardian of their history and future, and she was determined to speak with clarity and purpose. "Elders of Atlantis," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We come seeking your guidance and support. We have heard the whispers of disquiet from the ocean, and we have sought the oracle, who has revealed to us the grave danger that threatens our city." The murmurs subsided, and all eyes turned to her, a mixture of intrigue and skepticism reflected in their gazes. Elysia felt a flicker of anxiety but pressed on, knowing that the truth must be spoken. "What has the oracle foretold?" asked Elder Kalen, his voice deep and authoritative, his silver hair cascading over his shoulders like a waterfall of wisdom. His piercing blue eyes held a depth of understanding that made Elysia feel both small and significant at the same time. "Does she speak of the natural disturbances we have observed?" His tone was serious, and Elysia could sense the weight of responsibility he carried as a leader. "Yes," Elysia replied, her heart pounding as she continued. "There is an ancient power stirring beneath the waves, a force that seeks to disrupt the balance of our world. The oracle spoke of the source, the sacred heart of the ocean, where the energy of Atlantis flows strongest. She has tasked us with seeking it out to restore balance and protect our city." Elysia's voice grew firmer with each word, fueled by the urgency of their mission and the desperation of the moment. Thalion stepped forward, his voice rising with passion and conviction. "We need your help to unite the people of Atlantis, to rally them behind this cause. If we can inspire them, we can create a united front against the darkness that threatens us. The oracle has given us a crystal that will guide us to the source, but we cannot do this alone. We need the strength of our community and the wisdom of our leaders. Together, we can forge a path to safety." The elders exchanged glances, their expressions shifting as they absorbed the weight of Elysia and Thalion's words. A murmur rippled through the chamber, a blend of doubt and contemplation. Elder Nissa, known for her sharp intellect and fierce loyalty to Atlantis, leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "And what if the oracle is mistaken? What if this power does not exist? Or worse, what if it is a deception meant to sow discord among us?" Her voice held a note of skepticism, echoing the fears of many who Profek had lived through times of uncertainty before. Elysia felt a pang of frustration but quickly tempered it with resolve. She understood the weight of fear that gripped the hearts of the elders, but she knew they could not afford to turn a blind eye. "We cannot ignore the signs we have witnessed, the strange tides, the unsettling silence of the sea. Ignoring the oracle's warning could lead to our downfall. We must act now to protect our home, to safeguard the future of our children and their children." "Elder." Kalen raised a hand, silencing the murmurs that filled the air with uncertainty. "Your passion is commendable, Elysia, and your bravery speaks volumes. But this council must consider all possibilities before proceeding. We cannot act on fear alone." He paused, looking around at his fellow elders, allowing the weight of his words to settle in the room. "Let us deliberate, weigh the evidence, and seek consensus. If there is a path forward, we will find it, together." The chamber fell into a contemplative silence as the elders began to discuss amongst themselves, their voices low but urgent. Elysia and Thalion exchanged glances, a mixture of hope and anxiety swirling within them. They knew that the fate of Atlantis hung in the balance, and that the decisions made in this room could alter the course of their history. Elysia felt a sense of urgency rising within her. Time was not on their side, and the longer they deliberated, the more perilous their situation became. After what felt like an eternity, Elder Kalen returned his gaze to Elysia and Thalion, his expression thoughtful. "We have heard your words, and we recognize the gravity of the situation. If there is indeed a threat to our city, it is our duty to confront it. We will support your quest to seek the source and restore balance to our world." A wave of relief washed over Elysia, but she knew their journey was just beginning. The path ahead would be fraught with challenges, and they would need every ounce of strength they could muster. "However," Kalen continued, his tone shifting to one of caution, "we must prepare for the challenges that lie ahead. This path will not be easy, and there may be those who will oppose you. We will need to gather the support of the citizens, inspire them with your vision, and prepare them for the trials they may face. This will require not just strength, but unity and courage." Elysia nodded, her mind racing with the possibilities. We will do whatever it takes to rally our people. Together, we can face the darkness, and together, we will prevail." The resolve in her voice rang true, echoing the hopes of many who believed in the strength of Atlantis. With the council's support, Elysia and Thalion felt a renewed sense of purpose as they left the Great Hall, the crystal still warm in Elysia's palm, pulsing gently with the energy of the ocean. They stepped into the cool night air, knowing that the journey ahead would be fraught with danger, but also filled with the promise of hope and unity. As they turned toward the vast sea, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, guiding them toward their destiny. Their first task was clear. They would need to gather the citizens of Atlantis, to share the oracle's message, and inspire them to join their cause. Elysia envisioned the great square of Atlantis, where merchants and families gathered, a place alive with the spirit of community. If they could ignite the hearts of their people, they could form a coalition strong enough to face whatever trials awaited them. "We should begin at dawn," Thalion suggested, determination evident in his voice. "We'll gather everyone in the square and share our vision." Elysia nodded, a sense of excitement bubbling within her. "Yes, we'll need to prepare a speech, something that captures the urgency of our situation and motivates them to stand with us. We can tell them about the oracle's warning, about the need for unity. If we can show them that hope is not lost, that together we can find the source, we will have a chance." Together, as they walked along the moonlit paths of Atlantis, their minds whirred with ideas and strategies. They discussed how to best convey their message, the importance of storytelling, and the need to appeal to both the minds and hearts of the citizens. Elysia felt a sense of camaraderie growing between them, a shared purpose that strengthened their resolve. Little did they know, however, that shadows were already gathering within the city, forces that would challenge their mission and test their commitment to one another. As the stars twinkled overhead, a sense of foreboding lingered in the air, a reminder that the fight for Atlantis had only just begun. The dawn broke over Atlantis, painting the sky in hues of soft pink and golden orange, a promising start to what Elysia hoped would be a pivotal day. The sun's rays glinted off the crystal-clear waters, creating a shimmering pathway that seemed to beckon to her. As she stood on the balcony of her home, overlooking the vibrant city, her heart swelled with a mixture of hope and anxiety. Today, she and Thalion would address their fellow citizens, sharing the oracle's message and urging them to unite for the sake of their beloved city. The light of the new day felt like a blessing, a reminder that with every sunrise came an opportunity for renewal and change. Elysia took a deep breath, inhaling the salty air that invigorated her spirit. She could hear the distant sounds of the market coming to life, the clattering of carts, the calls of merchants hawking their wares, and the laughter of children playing in the streets. Each sound was a reminder of what they were fighting for: their community, their culture, and their future. But beneath the surface of this idyllic morning, she sensed an undercurrent of unease. Whispers of discontent had begun to circulate, and not everyone would be easily swayed by the urgency of their message. After a quick breakfast, Elysia and Thalion met at the bustling centre of the square, where the community gathered for daily exchanges. The square was a vast expanse paved with smooth stones, adorned with vibrant flowers that flourished in the sun. Colourful stalls lined the perimeter, each one showcasing the artistry and craftsmanship of Atlantean culture. Intricate jewellery, beautifully woven textiles, and exquisite pottery that reflected the skill and creativity of their people. The energy of the crowd was palpable, a mix of excitement and apprehension, but Elysia could also feel the weight of uncertainty hanging in the air. As they prepared to address the crowd, Elysia glanced at Thalion, his expression determined yet contemplative. He had always been her anchor, a steady presence in turbulent times. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, a hint of doubt creeping in despite her resolve. He nodded, his jaw set with determination. "We've prepared for this moment. We have to believe in our message and in the strength of our people." With that, they stepped forward, the crowd slowly noticing their presence, conversations dwindling as anticipation filled the air. Elysia raised her hand, a signal for silence, and the crowd began to settle, their eyes turning toward her. "Citizens of Atlantis," she began, her voice steady but warm, infused with passion and urgency. "We stand here today at a crossroads, faced with a challenge that threatens not only our city, but the very essence of who we are. We have witnessed strange occurrences in our oceans, tides that rise and fall unpredictably, whispers of a darkness that grows beneath the waves. We sought guidance from the oracle, and she has revealed the truth to us. A murmur ran through the crowd, curiosity piqued, eyes widening as they leaned in to hear more. Alicia continued, her heart racing as she spoke, fueled by the urgency of their mission. The oracle spoke of an ancient power stirring in the depths, a force that seeks to disrupt the balance of our world. But we are not helpless. Together, we can confront this darkness. The oracle has tasked us with seeking the source, the sacred heart of the ocean, where the energy of Atlantis flows strongest. She paused for a moment, allowing her words to sink in, hoping to inspire belief in the hearts of her fellow citizens. Thalion stepped forward, his voice rising with fervour, a beacon of hope amidst uncertainty. We need your strength, your courage, and your unity. The time has come for us to stand together, to protect our home, our families, and our future. If we unite, we can harness the power of Atlantis and face whatever challenges lie ahead. His words ignited a spark in the crowd, and Alicia could see the glimmers of hope beginning to form in their eyes, a flicker of belief that maybe, just maybe, they could overcome the impending storm. However, not everyone was convinced. From the back of the square, a figure stepped forward, a familiar face that Alicia recognized as Elder Nissa. Her expression was stern, and she raised a hand to silence the crowd, her presence commanding. And what of the risks, Alicia? What of the dangers that come with awakening forces we do not fully understand? Are we prepared to face the consequences of seeking the source? Her voice was filled with skepticism, and Alicia felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. The unease in the crowd seemed to swell, feeding off Nissa's words. Alicia took a moment to gather her thoughts, knowing that Nissa's concerns were valid. The elder represented the cautious wisdom of their people, and she understood the hesitations born from past experiences. "I understand your fears, Elder Nissa," she replied, her tone respectful yet firm. "But we cannot stand idle while the very fabric of our existence is threatened. The oracle has given us a chance to restore balance, and we owe it to our ancestors and our descendants to seize this opportunity. If we do nothing, we risk everything we hold dear, our homes, our families, our very way of life." Elder Nissa's brow furrowed, her expression contemplative yet unyielding. How can we trust that this source will not bring more chaos? What if the oracle's vision is flawed? What if we awaken something that is better left undisturbed? Her voice resonated with a mixture of caution and fear, and Alicia could see the doubt creeping into the faces of the citizens around her. The atmosphere crackled with tension, and she knew they needed to inspire trust and solidarity among the citizens. Elder Kalen, who had been silently observing from his seat, finally spoke up, his voice calm yet authoritative. "While I understand the concerns of Elder Nissa, we cannot ignore the signs that have been presented to us. The disturbances in the ocean are not mere coincidences, they are warnings. We must evaluate this situation carefully and prepare for the worst, but we must also be proactive in our approach. The time for action is now." Alicia felt a flicker of hope as she observed some members of the crowd nodding in agreement with Kalen. "We are all Atlanteans," Thalion interjected, his voice strong and passionate. "Our strength lies in our unity. Together, we have faced challenges before natural disasters, invasions, and the tide of time itself. We have always emerged stronger. This is no different. If we stand together, we can harness the power of our city and protect our way of life." Alicia took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the crowd shifting. Let us not forget the stories of our ancestors, who faced unimaginable odds and triumphed through their courage and resilience. We must channel that spirit now. We must believe in ourselves and in one another. The words resonated with the crowd, and Alicia could see the flickers of hope igniting in their eyes, the possibility of unity beginning to take root. Just as momentum seemed to build, a loud crash echoed from the far side of the square, interrupting their moment. A group of dissenters burst forth, led by a man named Arik, known for his fiery rhetoric and disdain for the Elder Council. "You speak of unity," Arik shouted, his voice cutting through the air like a knife. "But what you offer is blind obedience to a prophecy. You would have us abandon our lives for an uncertain future. I say we take what we have and defend it, rather than chase shadows." His words struck a chord, and Elysia could see doubt creeping into the faces of the citizens around her, uncertainty replacing the hope that had begun to blossom. The crowd shifted uneasily, torn between the passionate pleas of Elysia and Thalion and the fiery rhetoric of Arik. Elysia's heart sank as she realized the depth of division that lay within their community. "We cannot let fear dictate our choices," she called out, trying to regain control of the narrative. "We must stand together against the darkness. The oracle's words are not a burden, but a call to action." But Arik pressed on, his voice rising above hers, rallying the dissenters. "What trust can we place in an untested prophecy? We have our lives, our homes. Do not let them lead you into chaos. The council has failed us before, and I say we take matters into our own hands." His words resonated with some in the crowd, and Elysia could feel the uncertainty growing, the tide of public opinion shifting as fear began to take root. Thalion stepped forward again, determination etched on his face, his voice rising above the murmurs. "The choice is ours. We can either stand united against the threat we face, or allow fear to tear us apart. We must believe in the strength of our community. If we allow ourselves to be divided, we will surely fall." His words hung in the air, a challenge to the dissenters that resonated with many. Elysia felt a glimmer of hope as she observed some of the crowd nodding in agreement, their resolve beginning to harden. In that moment, Elysia knew they needed to act decisively. "Let us come together, not as factions, but as one people. We will hold a gathering tonight at the Temple of the Oracle, where we can discuss our fears, our hopes, and our plans openly. We will not shy away from the truth, but embrace it, finding strength in our shared purpose." Elysia's voice rang with conviction, her words becoming a beacon of hope amid the rising storm of dissent. The crowd began to murmur, the tension slowly giving way to a sense of resolve. Elysia could see that her words were reaching them, igniting a spark of unity that had been buried beneath fear and uncertainty. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, she felt a renewed sense of determination. They had a long way to go, but this was just the beginning. With the gathering planned, Elysia turned to Thalion, who gave her an encouraging nod. They would face the challenges ahead together, rallying their people for the trials that lay before them. As the crowd began to disperse, some still murmuring in doubt while others expressed newfound hope, Elysia felt the weight of her mission settle upon her shoulders. The gathering storm was not just a metaphor for the dangers ahead. It was a call to arms, a reminder that they were all part of something greater than themselves. The sun shone down on Atlantis, illuminating the path ahead, and as Elysia looked out at the faces of her fellow citizens, she knew that they were on the brink of a monumental journey. It was a journey that would test their limits, their courage, and their faith in one another. But together, they would face whatever darkness approached, forging a new path toward a brighter future. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle in the deepening blue of the sky, Elysia and Thalion stood at the entrance of the Temple of the Oracle, the sacred site that held the weight of their history and the potential of their future. The temple, with its towering columns and intricate carvings, stood as a testament to the strength and resilience of their civilization. Elysia could feel the energy of the place, a palpable reminder of the divine guidance that had shaped their destinies. The square outside the temple began to fill with people, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns that flickered like stars. Elysia felt a surge of hope as she saw familiar faces among the crowd, friends, neighbors, and even those who had once expressed doubt. They were all here, united in their desire to protect their home. "This is it," she whispered to Thalion, her heart pounding with anticipation. "This is the moment we've been waiting for." Thalion nodded, his expression serious yet determined. "Let's remind them of what we stand for, of the strength we possess when we come together. Tonight is not just about the Oracle's message. It's about rekindling the spirit of Atlantis." Together, they stepped forward, ready to embrace their destiny, ready to face the gathering storm. As the last rays of sunlight faded into the horizon, the Temple of the Oracle stood resplendent against the twilight sky, its marble columns gleaming like ancient sentinels guarding the secrets of the ages. Lanterns flickered to life, casting warm, golden light across the gathering crowd, illuminating the faces of those who had come to hear the call for unity. Elysia felt a swell of emotions, nervousness, anticipation, and an overwhelming sense of responsibility as she stepped forward alongside Thalion, ready to address their fellow citizens. Tonight could be a turning point in their fight for survival, and the weight of that realization pressed heavily on her heart. The square was alive with murmurs, the sound of shifting feet and whispered conversations mingling in the air. Elysia surveyed the gathering, noticing familiar faces among the crowd, friends, family, and even those who had once stood in opposition. She could see the uncertainty in some eyes, but also the flickers of hope igniting in others. This was their moment to bridge the gap, to transform fear into courage and doubt into conviction. "Remember," she whispered to Thalion, "this is about all of us. We need to show them that we're stronger together." Elysia raised her hand once more, and the crowd began to quiet, a hush falling over them as they turned their attention to the stage. The atmosphere thickened with anticipation, as if the very air was charged with the collective energy of their hopes and fears. "Thank you all for coming tonight," she began, her voice steady and clear, yet filled with a warmth that invited connection. "We stand here today at a crossroads, faced with a challenge that threatens not only our city, but the very essence of who we are. We have witnessed strange occurrences in our oceans, tides that rise and fall unpredictably, whispers of a darkness that grows beneath the waves. We sought guidance from the Oracle, and she has revealed the truth to us." A murmur ran through the crowd. Curiosity piqued, eyes widening as they leaned in to hear more. Elysia continued, her heart racing as she spoke, fueled by the urgency of their mission. "The Oracle spoke of an ancient power stirring in the depths, a force that seeks to disrupt the balance of our world. But we are not helpless. Together, we can confront this darkness. The Oracle has tasked us with seeking the source, the sacred heart of the ocean, where the energy of Atlantis flows strongest." She paused for a moment, allowing her words to sink in, hoping to inspire belief in the hearts of her fellow citizens. Thalion stepped forward, his presence commanding attention. "We need your strength, your courage, and your unity. The time has come for us to stand together, to protect our home, our families, and our future. If we unite, we can harness the power of Atlantis and face whatever challenges lie ahead." His words resonated deeply, sparking a wave of murmurs and nods of agreement among the crowd. Elysia could see the determination beginning to blossom, the flickers of hope transforming into a burgeoning flame. However, not everyone was convinced. From the back of the square, a figure stepped forward, a familiar face that Elysia recognized as Elder Nissa. Her expression was stern, and she raised a hand to silence the crowd, her presence commanding. "And what of the risks, Elysia? What of the dangers that come with awakening forces we do not fully understand? Are we prepared to face the consequences of seeking the blaining source?" Her voice was filled with skepticism, and Elysia felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. The unease in the crowd seemed to swell, feeding off Nissa's words. Elysia took a moment to gather her thoughts, knowing that Nissa's concerns were valid. The elder represented the cautious wisdom of their people, drawing from years of experience and a deep understanding of their history. "I understand your fears, Elder Nissa," she replied, her tone respectful yet firm. "But we cannot stand idle while the very fabric of our existence is threatened. The Oracle has given us a chance to restore balance, and we owe it to our ancestors and our descendants to seize this opportunity. If we do nothing, we risk everything we hold dear, our homes, our families, our very way of life." Elder Nissa's brow furrowed, her expression contemplative yet unyielding. "How can we trust that this source will not bring more chaos? What if the Oracle's vision is flawed? What if we awaken something that is better left undisturbed?" Her voice resonated with a mixture of caution and fear, and Elysia could see the doubt creeping into the faces of the citizens around her. The atmosphere crackled with tension, and she knew they needed to inspire trust and solidarity among the citizens. Elder Kalen, who had been silently observing from his seat, finally spoke up, his voice calm yet authoritative. "While I understand the concerns of Elder Nissa, we cannot ignore the signs that have been presented to us. The disturbances in the ocean are not mere coincidences, they are warnings. We must evaluate this situation carefully and prepare for the worst, but we must also be proactive in our approach. The time for action is now." Elysia felt a flicker of hope as she observed some members of the crowd nodding in agreement with Kalen. "We are all Atlanteans," Thalion interjected, his voice strong and passionate. Our strength lies in our unity. Together, we have faced challenges before, natural disasters, invasions, and the tide of time itself. We have always emerged stronger. This is no different. If we stand together, we can harness the power of our city and protect our way of life. Alicia took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the crowd shifting. Let us not forget the stories of our ancestors, who faced unimaginable odds and triumphed through their courage and resilience. We must channel that spirit now. We must believe in ourselves and in one another. The words resonated with the crowd, and Alicia could see the flickers of hope igniting in their eyes, the possibility of unity beginning to take root. Just as momentum seemed to build, a loud crash echoed from the far side of the square, interrupting their moment. A group of dissenters burst forth, led by a man named Arik, known for his fiery rhetoric and disdain for the elder council. "You speak of unity," Arik shouted, his voice cutting through the air like a knife. "But what you offer is blind obedience to a prophecy. You would have us abandon our lives for an uncertain future. I say we take what we have and defend it, rather than chase shadows." His words struck a chord, and Alicia could see doubt creeping into the faces of the citizens around her, uncertainty replacing the hope that had begun to blossom. The crowd shifted uneasily, torn between the passionate pleas of Alicia and Thalion and the fiery rhetoric of Arik. Alicia's heart sank as she realized the depth of division that lay within their community. "We cannot let fear dictate our choices," she called out, trying to regain control of the narrative. "We must stand together against the darkness." The oracle's words are not a burden, but a call to action. But Arik pressed on, his voice rising above hers, rallying the dissenters. "What trust can we place in an untested prophecy? We have our lives, our homes. Do not let them lead you into chaos. The council has failed us before, and I say we take matters into our own hands." His words resonated with some in the crowd, and Alicia could feel the uncertainty growing, the tide of public opinion shifting as fear began to take root. Thalion stepped forward again, determination etched on his face, his voice rising above the murmurs. "The choice is ours. We can either stand united against the threat we face or allow fear to tear us apart. We must believe in the strength of our community. If we allow ourselves to be divided, we will surely fall." His words hung in the air, a challenge to the dissenters that resonated with many. Alicia felt a glimmer of hope as she observed some of the crowd nodding in agreement, their resolve beginning to harden. In that moment, Alicia knew they needed to act decisively. "Let us come together, not as factions, but as one people. We will hold a gathering tonight at the Temple of the Oracle, where we can discuss our fears, our hopes, and our plans openly. We will not shy away from the truth, but embrace it, finding strength in our shared purpose." Alicia's voice rang with conviction, her words becoming a beacon of hope amid the rising storm of dissent. The crowd began to murmur, the tension slowly giving way to a sense of resolve. Alicia could see that her words were reaching them, igniting a spark of unity that had been buried beneath fear and uncertainty. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, she felt a renewed sense of determination. They had a long way to go, but this was just the beginning. With the gathering planned, Alicia turned to Thalion, who gave her an encouraging nod. They would face the challenges ahead together, rallying their people for the trials that lay before them. As the crowd began to disperse, some still murmuring in doubt while others expressed newfound hope, Alicia felt the weight of her mission settle upon her shoulders. The gathering storm was not just a metaphor for the dangers ahead. It was a call to arms, a reminder that they were all part of something greater than themselves. The sun shone down on Atlantis, illuminating the path ahead, and as Alicia looked out at the faces of her fellow citizens, she knew that they were on the brink of a monumental journey. It was a journey that would test their limits, their courage, and their faith in one another, but together they would face whatever darkness approached, forging a new path toward a brighter future. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle in the deepening blue of the sky, Alicia and Thalion stood at the entrance of the Temple of the Oracle, the sacred site that held the weight of their history and the potential of their future. The temple, with its towering columns and intricate carvings, stood as a testament to the strength and resilience of their civilization. Alicia could feel the energy of the place, a palpable reminder of the divine guidance that had shaped their destinies. The square outside the temple began to fill with people, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns that flickered like stars. Elysia felt a surge of hope as she saw familiar faces among the crowd, friends, neighbours, and even those who had once expressed doubt. They were all here, united in their desire to protect their home. "This is it," she whispered to Thalion, her heart pounding with anticipation. "This is the moment we've been waiting for." Thalion nodded, his expression serious yet determined. "Let's remind them of what we stand for, of the strength we possess when we come together. Tonight is not just about the Oracle's message, it's about rekindling the spirit of Atlantis." Together, they stepped forward, ready to embrace their destiny, ready to face the gathering storm. As the gathering continued, members of the community began to share their personal stories, each one a thread in the rich tapestry of their shared experience. An elderly woman stood up, her voice trembling but steady. "I remember the tales my mother told me of the Great Flood, how our ancestors banded together to survive the chaos. They forged a new path, united as one. We must do the same." Her words resonated through the crowd, igniting memories of resilience and strength. More voices joined the chorus, young and old, each sharing their hopes and fears. A young boy, perhaps no older than 10, stood up and spoke with surprising conviction. "I want to be brave like the heroes in the stories. If the Oracle says we need to find the source to save Atlantis, then we should do it." His innocence and courage struck a chord, prompting smiles and murmurs of agreement among the crowd. Elysia felt tears stinging her eyes. The strength of their community was overwhelming. Even those who had initially opposed the mission began to voice their thoughts. A middle-aged man with weathered hands and a thoughtful expression raised his voice. "What if we start with small steps? We can gather more information before we embark on this journey. We can explore the coastlines, talk to fishermen, and learn what they've seen. Knowledge is power." His suggestion was met with nods of approval, and Elysia felt a swell of gratitude. It was a reminder that they were not alone in this endeavour. The wisdom of their community was a powerful ally. As the discussions continued, Elysia and Thalion moved through the crowd, listening intently to the concerns and aspirations of their fellow citizens. They spoke to families, elders, and children, gathering insights and fostering connections. Each conversation reinforced their resolve, reminding them of the importance of unity in the face of adversity. The square was filled with laughter, tears, and passionate discussions, a symphony of voices echoing the heartbeat of Atlantis. After several hours of heartfelt dialogue, Elysia felt a sense of optimism blooming within her. The crowd had transformed from a gathering of disparate voices into a chorus of determination. People who had once stood on opposite sides were now sharing laughter, stories, and plans for the future. The atmosphere was electric with possibility, and Elysia felt the weight of their collective spirit lifting her heart. Finally, as the night deepened and the stars twinkled brightly above, Elysia returned to the centre of the square, ready to address the gathering once more. "This is just the beginning. We have shared our fears, but we have also found common ground. Together, we have the power to face whatever challenges lie ahead. The Oracle has given us a mission, but it is up to us to embrace it with courage and unity." Applause erupted among the crowd, a wave of sound that echoed through the square. Elysia felt the warmth of hope wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. "Tomorrow, we will begin preparations for our journey to seek the source. We will gather supplies, train together, and prepare ourselves for the challenges that await us beneath the waves. Let us honour the strength of our ancestors and carry their spirit with us." As the night wore on, laughter and conversation filled the square, the energy palpable as citizens began to make plans and forge connections. Elysia stood beside Thalion, their hands clasped together, hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of their community. They had ignited a spark of hope, a flame that would guide them through the gathering storm. Yet, even amidst the joy and unity, Elysia couldn't shake the feeling that the challenges ahead would test them in ways they could not yet imagine. As she looked out over the crowd, she knew that the path to the source would not only require bravery, but also unwavering trust in one another. They were embarking on a journey that would define their fate, and she was determined to face it with her fellow Atlanteans, side by side. "This journey will not be easy," Thalion said, breaking her reverie. "But I believe in us, in our people. Together, We can face whatever comes our way. Elysia smiled at him, feeling the strength of their bond. We'll need that belief as we move forward. Let's prepare for tomorrow, not just in body, but also in spirit. We should remind everyone of our shared history, the stories that have brought us together. As the lanterns flickered gently in the night breeze, Elysia felt a sense of peace wash over her. The night had been long and filled with challenges, but it had also illuminated the strength of their community. They were ready to face the unknown, to forge a path toward the source, and to protect the legacy of Atlantis. Turning to the crowd one last time, Elysia raised her voice, a final call to unity. Let us remember that together we are stronger than any darkness that may come our way. Together we will rise to meet the challenges ahead. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers, their voices rising in unison as a declaration of their commitment to one another. Elysia's heart swelled with pride. They were not just a collection of individuals, but a unified force, ready to confront whatever lay beneath the waves. As the gathering began to disperse, Elysia and Thalion lingered for a moment, watching as the citizens of Atlantis embraced one another, their spirits lifted by the shared experience of the evening. Elysia felt a deep sense of gratitude for the community surrounding her. They were a tapestry woven from countless threads of love, hope, and resilience, and together they would face the trials that awaited them. Standing there, hand in hand with Thalion, Elysia felt ready for the dawn of a new adventure, one that would test their limits and forge their destinies. The gathering storm was not just a challenge to be faced, but a catalyst for transformation, a reminder that, from the depths of uncertainty, hope could emerge. The first light of dawn broke over Atlantis, casting a warm glow upon the city, as if the sun itself was offering its blessing on the day ahead. Elysia awoke with a renewed sense of purpose, the events of the previous night still fresh in her mind. The echoes of laughter and determination from the gathering filled her heart with hope. Today was the day they would embark on their quest to seek the source, the heart of the ocean that held the key to their city's survival. After a quick breakfast filled with the comforting aromas of freshly baked bread and the rich flavors of honey and fruit, Elysia donned her travel attire, a sturdy tunic and comfortable leggings that allowed for ease of movement. She gathered the supplies she had prepared, a small satchel filled with essential items, including a map of the ocean currents, a journal for recording their findings, and a small dagger for protection. Thalion joined her, equally prepared, his face set with determination. "Are you ready for this?" he asked, his voice steady yet laced with excitement. Elysia nodded, a smile breaking across her face. "I've never been more ready. We have the support of our people, and together we can face whatever challenges await us." The bond between them felt stronger than ever, forged in the fires of their shared mission. As they made their way to the square, the streets of Atlantis buzzed with activity. Citizens were moving about with purpose, gathering supplies, sharing stories, and preparing for the journey ahead. The air was thick with anticipation, and Elysia felt a sense of camaraderie enveloping her. They were all in this together, united by a common goal. Upon reaching the square, Elysia and Thalion found the community gathered in a semicircle, a mix of family and friends who had come to bid them farewell and offer their support. Elder Nissa stood at the forefront, her expression a blend of concern and pride. "You are about to embark on a journey that will test your resolve and your courage," she began, her voice carrying the weight of experience. "But remember, you do not walk this path alone. We are with you in spirit, and our hopes will guide you." Elysia felt her heart swell at Nissa's words. "Thank you, Elder. We will carry your hopes with us and strive to make you proud." As she turned to face the crowd, she saw familiar faces filled with determination and encouragement. Friends and neighbors had come to offer their blessings, and she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over her. Thalion stepped forward, his voice resonating with conviction. "We will not only seek the source, but also gather knowledge and strength from the journey itself. We promise to return with the wisdom needed to protect our home." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices melding into a powerful chorus of support. Elysia looked among the found, faces, each one a reminder of the lives they were fighting for. She caught the eye of a young girl, no more than 7, clutching a small seashell, an offering from the sea, perhaps representing hope and protection. "We will return, I promise." Elysia called out, her heart swelling with determination. The girl beamed, her innocence a stark contrast to the weight of the journey ahead. With final farewells exchanged and a deep sense of purpose in their hearts, Elysia and Thalion made their way to the docks, where a sturdy vessel awaited them. The ship, the Starseeker, was a beautiful creation of polished wood, adorned with intricate carvings of sea creatures that seemed to dance along the hull. Its sails were unfurled, catching the morning breeze, and the crew was already busy preparing for departure. "She's a fine ship," Thalion remarked, admiring the craftsmanship. "Built for speed and stability, she will carry us safely across the waters." Elysia nodded, her excitement bubbling over. The prospect of adventure filled her with energy, and she could hardly contain her eagerness to set sail. As they approached the ship, the captain, a seasoned sailor named Captain Dorian, greeted them with a hearty smile. "Welcome aboard, young adventurers. I've heard tales of your mission, and I'm honoured to have you on my ship. We'll face the tides together, and I'll ensure you reach your destination safely." His confidence was infectious, and Elysia felt her apprehensions ease. Once aboard, the crew busied themselves with final preparations, checking ropes, securing supplies, and readying the sails. Elysia and Thalion took a moment to familiarise themselves with the layout of the ship, noting the various compartments and the crew's quarters. The smell of salt water and the sound of waves lapping against the hull invigorated them, reminding them of the vastness of the ocean that lay before them. Before long, Captain Dorian called for everyone to gather on deck. "Settle in, everyone. We'll be departing shortly. This journey will take us through uncharted waters, and I need each of you to be vigilant and ready for anything." Elysia could see the determination in his eyes, a reflection of the commitment shared by all aboard. "Remember, our goal is not just to seek the source, but to learn from the ocean itself. Listen to her, and she will guide you." With that, the ship's sails caught the wind, and the Starseeker began to glide away from the dock, leaving the shores of Atlantis behind. Elysia stood at the railing, watching as the city gradually faded from view, her heart filled with a mix of excitement and nostalgia. She was leaving behind everything she had ever known, but she was also stepping into a new chapter of her life, a chapter filled with potential and adventure. Thalion exclaimed, pointing toward the open sea. The waves sparkled in the sunlight, a vast expanse of blue stretching endlessly before them. "This is where our journey truly begins." Elysia turned her gaze toward the horizon, a sense of wonder washing over her. The ocean was alive, a realm of mystery and beauty, and she felt a deep connection to its depths. As they sailed further away from the safety of their homeland, the crew worked diligently, their camaraderie evident as they shared laughter and stories amidst the chores of preparing the ship. Elysia and Thalion joined in, lending a hand wherever they could, eager to contribute to their journey. They learned to tie knots, hoist sails, and navigate the currents, growing closer to the crew with each passing hour. Days turned into a rhythm of adventure and toil, the sea becoming both their companion and their challenge. Elysia found herself captivated by the wonders of the ocean, schools of shimmering fish darting through the waves, dolphins leaping alongside the ship, and the haunting calls of seabirds soaring overhead. Each day brought new discoveries, and with each passing moment, she felt her connection to the ocean deepening. But the sea was not without its challenges. Storms would often roll in suddenly, dark clouds gathering on the horizon, transforming the calm waters into a turbulent expanse. Elysia and Thalion learned to work together with the crew to secure the ship, facing the elements with determination and resilience. During one particularly fierce storm, as the winds howled and rain lashed against them, Elysia found herself at the helm, her heart racing as she steered the Starseeker through the tumultuous waves. "Hold steady," Captain Dorian shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "You've got this, Elysia. Trust your instincts." In that moment, she felt the weight of her responsibility, not just for herself but for everyone aboard. She gripped the wheel firmly, focusing on the rhythm of the waves and the guidance of the captain. With Thalion by her side, they navigated through the storm, their hearts in sync, their spirits unyielding. Once the storm passed and the sun broke through the clouds, Elysia stood at the bow, her heart pounding with exhilaration. They had faced the storm together and emerged stronger for it. The crew cheered, celebrating their victory over the sea, and Elysia felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The ocean had tested them, but they had proven their resilience. days turned into weeks, and as they approached the area where the oracle had indicated the source could be found, the atmosphere grew charged with anticipation. The crew worked diligently, scanning the horizon for any signs of the sacred site. Elysia and Thalion spent every moment they could studying the map, piecing together the clues that would lead them to their destination. One evening, as they sat together on deck, the stars twinkling above, Thalion turned to Elysia, his expression thoughtful. "Do you ever wonder what we'll find when we reach the source? What kind of power lies beneath the waves?" Elysia pondered his question, her heart filled with both excitement and trepidation. "I've thought about it a lot. I believe it holds the key to restoring balance to healing our city, but it may also bring challenges we can't yet foresee." Thalion nodded, his gaze focused on the horizon. "Whatever we find, we will face it together. We've already overcome so much, and I believe in us." Elysia smiled, grateful for his unwavering support. Yes, together. The bond between them felt unbreakable, forged in the fires of their shared purpose and the trials they had faced. The next morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon, casting a golden light across the water, Captain Dorian called everyone to gather on deck. "We're nearing the coordinates provided by the oracle," he announced, excitement evident in his voice. "Prepare yourselves for the check. Unexpected. The source is said to be a place of immense power, and it may not reveal itself easily." With hearts pounding, Elysia and Thalion positioned themselves at the bow, their eyes scanning the water for any signs of what lay beneath. The crew worked in harmony, adjusting sails and preparing the ship for whatever awaited them. The ocean shimmered in the morning light, a vast expanse of mystery and potential, and Elysia felt a thrill of anticipation coursing through her veins. As they ventured deeper into uncharted waters, the sea took on a different hue, a deeper blue that seemed to pulse with energy. Elysia could feel the air grow charged, a sense of magic and possibility enveloping them. The oracle's words echoed in her mind, a reminder of the importance of their quest. "This is it," Thalion whispered, gripping her hand tightly. "We're close." Elysia nodded, her heart racing. "Let's be ready for anything." With each passing moment, the excitement grew, and as they sailed forward, they felt the weight of their mission pressing upon them, a shared purpose guiding them toward their destiny. Suddenly, the water began to churn violently, as if the ocean itself was awakening from a deep slumber. Waves crashed against the ship, and the crew scrambled to secure their positions. Captain Dorian shouted commands, urging everyone to hold tight. Elysia and Thalion braced themselves against the railing, their hearts pounding in unison as they prepared to face whatever was about to emerge from the depths. The sea roiled and twisted, and then, with a tremendous surge, a massive spout of water erupted from the ocean, arching into the air like a mighty fountain. Elysia gasped, her eyes wide with awe and fear, as a magnificent creature emerged from the depths, an enormous whale, its body gleaming in the sunlight, a being of ancient wisdom and power. The whale breached the surface, its song reverberating through the face, water, and into their very souls. Elysia felt a profound connection to the creature, as if it understood their purpose and was guiding them toward the source. The crew fell silent, mesmerized by the sight, and for a moment the chaos of the sea faded away, leaving only the haunting melody of the whale's song. "It's beautiful," Thalion breathed, his eyes reflecting the awe that filled the air. Elysia nodded, feeling tears prick at the corners of her eyes. "It's a sign," she whispered, her heart swelling with hope. "We are on the right path." The whale swam alongside the Starseeker, its massive form gliding gracefully through the water, and Elysia felt an overwhelming sense of purpose wash over her. They were not alone. The ocean was alive, and it was with them. As the whale swam alongside the ship, Elysia closed her eyes, allowing herself to be enveloped in the melody of its song. In that moment, she felt a deep connection to the ocean, to the history of Atlantis, and to the mission that lay before them. They were part of something much greater than themselves, and together they would uncover the truths hidden beneath the waves. Finally, as the whale began to swim away, Elysia opened her eyes, her heart full of gratitude. They were entering a new realm, a place of magic and mystery, and she was ready to embrace whatever awaited them. "Let's follow it," she urged, her voice filled with determination. It will lead us to the source. With renewed energy, the crew adjusted their sails, following the path of the magnificent creature as it led them deeper into the heart of the ocean. The journey was just beginning, and Elysia felt the weight of destiny resting upon their shoulders. Together, they would face the unknown, guided by the whispers of the sea and the strength of their unity. As the Star Seeker glided through the archway, the world around Elysia transformed into a breathtaking underwater realm, unlike anything she had ever seen. The water shimmered with vibrant hues of blue and green, creating a surreal atmosphere that felt both magical and otherworldly. Schools of bioluminescent fish darted past, their scales glinting like tiny stars scattered across an endless sea. Elysia leaned over the railing, her heart racing with excitement and wonder as they ventured deeper into the heart of the ocean. "Look at that," she exclaimed, pointing toward a cluster of coral that glowed with an ethereal light. The coral formations rose like majestic towers, their intricate designs resembling the spires of ancient palaces, each adorned with delicate sea anemones that swayed gently in the current. Elysia couldn't help but feel that they were entering a new world, one filled with beauty and mystery, where the ocean's secrets awaited discovery. Captain Dorian steered the ship carefully, navigating through the labyrinth of coral and sea life. "Stay alert, everyone," he called out, his voice steady yet commanding. "We are entering the heart of the source, and we must be ready for anything. The ocean holds both wonders and dangers, and we must respect its power." His words resonated with Elysia, reminding her of the responsibility they carried. They had come so far, and now was the time to approach this journey with both reverence and courage. As they ventured further, the water grew brighter, illuminated by glowing flora that lined the ocean floor. Elysia marveled at the sight. A forest of luminescent plants swayed gently in the current, their soft light pulsating like a heartbeat. The air was filled with sounds of the ocean, gentle currents, distant calls of sea creatures, and the soft whispers of water flowing around them. It was as if the ocean itself was alive, breathing and welcoming them into its depths. "This is incredible," Thalion said, his eyes wide with wonder. "I've never seen anything like it." Elysia smiled at him, her heart swelling with joy. "It's like a dream," she replied, her voice filled with awe. "We are truly in the heart of Atlantis." Together, they stood at the bow, their hearts racing with excitement as they took in the breathtaking beauty surrounding them. Suddenly, the ship began to slow, the gentle current guiding them toward a large, circular clearing at the center of the underwater landscape. In the middle of the clearing stood a colossal stone structure, its surface covered in intricate carvings that depicted scenes of ancient Atlantean life, people, sea creatures, and celestial symbols intertwined in a dance of harmony and balance. Elysia felt a shiver run down her spine. This was a place of power, a sacred site that had stood the test of time. "This is it," Captain Dorian announced, a sense of reverence in his voice. "We've reached the source." The crew gathered at the railings, their expressions a mix of awe and anticipation. Elysia could feel the energy radiating from the structure, a pulsing force that resonated with her very being. It was as if the heart of Atlantis was calling to them, urging them to uncover its secrets. Elysia turned to Thalion, her heart racing with excitement. "We need to explore it," she urged, her voice brimming with determination. "This is what we came for." Thalion nodded, his eyes shining with excitement. "Let's do it. We'll uncover the mysteries of the source together." Captain Dorian nodded in agreement, his expression serious. "We must proceed with caution. This is a sacred place, and we do not know what we may encounter. Everyone, prepare to go ashore. We will need to gather information and respect the power that resides here." The crew sprang into action, readying themselves for the exploration ahead. Elysia and Thalion donned their diving gear, adjusting their masks and securing their oxygen tanks. As they prepared to enter the water, Elysia felt a rush of adrenaline course through her veins. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the chance to uncover the secrets of the source and protect their city. Together, they exchanged a determined glance, a silent promise to support one another through whatever lay ahead. Once ready, Elysia took a deep breath and stepped over the side of the ship, plunging into the cool, refreshing water. The sensation was invigorating, and she quickly adjusted to the underwater environment. Thalion followed closely behind her, his presence a comforting reminder that they were in this together. As they descended, the world around them transformed into a breathtaking underwater kingdom. They swam down toward the stone structure, their surroundings filled with shimmering light and vibrant colors. Schools of fish darted past them, their scales catching the light like precious gems. Elysia felt a sense of wonder wash over her, the beauty of the ocean captivating her senses. Reaching the base of the stone structure, Elysia and Thalion marveled at the intricacy of the carvings. The images depicted scenes of harmony between the Atlanteans and the sea, showcasing their reverence for the ocean and the balance they had maintained throughout the centuries. Elysia traced her fingers over the carvings, feeling the energy pulsing beneath her touch, each line a testament to the rich history of their people. "This is incredible," she whispered, her voice barely audible in the water. "The stories etched into this stone, they speak of our connection to the ocean." Thalion nodded, his eyes wide with awe. "It's a testament to the wisdom of our ancestors. They understood the power of the source and the importance of maintaining harmony with the sea." Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the water, vibrating through the stone structure. Elysia felt a rush of energy course through her, and she exchanged a worried glance with Thalion. "What was that?" she asked, her voice tinged with apprehension. Thalion shrugged, his eyes scanning the area. "I'm not sure, but we should be careful." Just then, a swirling column of water erupted from the center of the stone structure, forming a powerful vortex that drew them closer. Elysia felt a surge of energy pulling her toward the vortex, the force almost overwhelming. "Thalion!" she shouted, gripping his hand tightly. "We need to hold on." With determination, they swam toward the vortex, their hearts racing. The water surged around them, and Elysia felt the energy of the source intensifying. Together, they fought against the current, propelling themselves forward as they approached the center of the swirling water. Suddenly, they were engulfed by a blinding light, and Elysia felt herself being lifted from the ocean floor. As the light enveloped them, she surrendered to the force, trusting in the power of the source. In that moment, everything around her faded away, the sound of the ocean, the weight of the water, even the presence of Thalion beside her. It was as if she was being drawn into a realm beyond time and space. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the light dissipated, and Elysia found herself standing in a vast, ethereal chamber. The walls shimmered like liquid crystal, reflecting a kaleidoscope of colors that danced around her. She looked down to find herself no longer in her diving gear, but adorned in flowing robes that seemed to flow like water itself. The transformation was both bewildering and exhilarating. "Thalion?" she called out, her voice echoing in the chamber. Panic rose in her chest as she realized she was alone. "Thalion," but there was no response. The chamber was silent, save for the soft hum of energy that pulsed through the air. Elysia took a deep breath, steadying herself. She had to find Thalion and uncover the mysteries of the source. Taking a step forward, Elysia felt the ground beneath her pulse with energy, guiding her deeper into the chamber. The walls seemed to shift and change, revealing images of the past, stories of the Atlanteans, their triumphs, their struggles, and their deep connection to the ocean. She watched in awe as scenes unfolded before her, each one resonating with a sense of history and wisdom. Suddenly, she saw a figure emerge from the shimmering light, a tall, ethereal being with flowing hair that seemed to ripple like water. The being's eyes glowed with a deep, ancient wisdom, and Elysia felt a sense of peace wash over her as it approached. "Welcome, Guardian of Atlantis," the being spoke, its voice melodic and soothing. "You have come seeking the source, and in doing so, you have awakened the ancient power that resides within these waters." Elysia's heart raced as she realized she was in the presence of something truly extraordinary. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling with awe. "I am the guardian of the source," the being replied, its gaze unwavering. "I have watched over this realm for centuries, ensuring the balance between the ocean and the people of Atlantis. Your arrival signifies a pivotal moment in your journey, and you must understand the weight of the choice that lies before you." "What choice?" Elysia thought, her mind racing with questions. "What do you mean?" The guardian gestured toward the shimmering walls, and Elysia felt a wave of images wash over her, visions of destruction, of darkness rising from the depths, threatening to consume everything she held dear. "The source holds immense power," the guardian explained, "but with such power comes great responsibility. The fate of Atlantis rests in your hands, and you must choose wisely. Elysia felt a knot forming in her stomach, the weight of the Guardian's words pressing down on her. "What if I make the wrong choice?" she asked, fear creeping into her voice. The Guardian smiled gently, its eyes filled with understanding. "Fear not, for you are not alone. Your journey is one of discovery and growth. Trust in yourself, in the bond you share with your people, and in the wisdom of the ocean. You will find your way." Just then, Elysia felt a familiar presence beside her, and she turned to see Thalion standing at her side, his expression a mixture of awe and determination. "I'm here," he said softly, reaching for her hand. "We're in this together." Elysia's heart swelled with gratitude, and she squeezed his hand tightly. Together, they would face whatever challenges awaited them. The Guardian nodded, its gaze shifting between them. "Your bond is strong, and it will guide you in the choices you make. As you prepare to embrace the power of the Source, remember that it is not merely a tool but a reflection of your hearts and intentions. Use it wisely, and the ocean will reward you with the strength needed to protect your home." Elysia and Thalion exchanged determined looks, their resolve solidifying. They had come too far to turn back now. "We will honor the ocean and use its power to protect Atlantis," Elysia declared, her voice steady and filled with conviction. Thalion nodded in agreement, his eyes burning with intensity. "Together, we will restore balance and ensure the safety of our people." With a gentle smile, the Guardian raised its hands, and the chamber began to shimmer with vibrant light, swirling around them like a living entity. "Prepare yourselves, Guardians of Atlantis," the being intoned, its voice echoing through the chamber. "Embrace the Source, and let its power flow through you. Your journey has only just begun." As the light enveloped them, Elysia and Thalion felt a surge of energy coursing through their veins, a connection to the ocean and to each other that transcended time and space. They were no longer just individuals, they were part of a greater whole, intertwined with the very fabric of Atlantis. Together, they would uncover the truth of the Source and protect their beloved city from the darkness that threatened to consume it. Suddenly, the world around them began to shift, the chamber dissolving into a cascade of light as they were drawn deeper into the heart of the Source. The ocean embraced them, and with every heartbeat, they felt the rhythm of the sea, the pulse of Atlantis itself. They were on the brink of discovery, and as they surrendered to the current, Elysia knew that their adventure had only just begun. As the brilliant light enveloped them, Elysia and Thalion felt themselves being drawn into the depths of the Source, the energy swirling around them like a current of pure magic. Time lost all meaning. They were suspended in a realm where the boundaries between the ocean and the spirit world blurred. Elysia could feel the heartbeat of Atlantis resonating within her, a rhythm that echoed through her very being, guiding her toward her destiny. It was as if the ocean was alive, welcoming them into its embrace, promising to reveal its deepest secrets. Suddenly, they were plunged into a vibrant underwater world, the light shifting to reveal an expansive landscape filled with breathtaking beauty and wonder. Elysia and Thalion found themselves floating above a vast expanse of coral gardens that sparkled like gemstones under the shimmering water. Colours danced all around them, brilliant oranges, radiant purples, and luminous greens, each hue more vibrant than the last. The flora waved gently in the current, and schools of fish darted in intricate patterns, as if performing a synchronized dance. The beauty was overwhelming, and Elysia felt her heart swell with joy and awe. "Where are we?" Thalion whispered, his voice filled with reverence as he took in the sights. Elysia turned to him, her heart racing with excitement. "I think we're inside the Source itself. This is what it feels like when the ocean reveals its true power." She glanced around, marveling at the stunning beauty of their surroundings, feeling an overwhelming sense of connection to the ocean and its mysteries. It was a place where dreams met reality, where they could grasp the very essence of their home. As they floated through the underwater paradise, Elysia noticed that the vibrant colours seemed to pulse in time with her heartbeat, a sign of the Source's energy responding to their presence. "Thalion, do you feel that?" she asked, her voice filled with awe. "It's like the ocean is alive, responding to us." Thalion nodded, his expression a mixture of amazement and curiosity. "I can feel it too. It's as if we're part of something greater, something ancient and powerful." Suddenly, the water around them began to swirl, and a figure emerged from the depths, a magnificent sea serpent. its scales shimmering like liquid silver. It glided through the water with an elegant grace, its long body coiling and twisting as it approached them. Elysia felt a mixture of fear and awe as the creature drew nearer, its large, intelligent eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her heart race. "Do not be afraid, guardians of Atlantis," the serpent spoke, its voice smooth and melodic, resonating through the water like a gentle wave. "I am Seraphi, the guardian of the source. You have awakened the ancient power that lies within these waters, and with it comes great responsibility." The air around them vibrated with energy, and Elysia felt the weight of the serpent's words settle over her like a thick fog. Elysia and Thalion exchanged wide-eyed glances, their hearts racing in unison. "We seek to restore balance to Atlantis," Elysia said, her voice steady despite the awe she felt. "We want to protect our home and understand the true power of the source." Seraphi nodded, a knowing glimmer in its eyes. "Your intentions are noble, and the power of the source will aid you. However, be warned, with great power comes great temptation. The darkness that threatens your city will seek to manipulate that power for its own ends." Thalion stepped forward, determination etched on his face. "What must we do to harness this power? How can we ensure it is used to protect Atlantis?" Seraphi regarded him with respect, its gaze steady and profound. "To embrace the power of the source, you must first confront your own fears and doubts. The ocean reflects the hearts of those who seek its truth. Only by understanding yourselves can you truly wield the strength of the source." Elysia felt a wave of uncertainty wash over her. "How do we confront our fears? What if we fail?" The serpent's gaze softened, and it swam closer, its presence a comforting balm in the midst of their uncertainty. "You must trust in your bond with one another and the wisdom of the ocean. Remember, the source is a reflection of your hearts. Embrace the light within you, and it will guide you through the darkness." With a flick of its tail, Seraphi gestured toward a path illuminated by glowing orbs that floated like stars in the water. "Follow this path, and it will lead you to the heart of the source. There, you will find the answers you seek and the power you need to protect your city. But remember, the journey will not be easy. You will face challenges that will test your resolve and your bond." Elysia and Thalion exchanged a glance, a silent understanding passing between them. They were on the brink of something monumental, and together they would face whatever lay ahead. Taking a deep breath, Elysia stepped forward, leading the way down the glowing path. As they swam, the water around them shimmered with energy, and Elysia could feel the source pulsing through her veins, awakening a strength she never knew she possessed. Thalion swam close beside her, his presence a reassuring anchor in the vastness of the ocean. As they moved deeper into the heart of the source, the water began to change. The vibrant colours faded, replaced by a deep, shadowy blue that seemed to absorb the light around them. Elysia felt a chill run down her spine, a sense of foreboding settling in her chest. "What's happening?" she asked, glancing at Thalion, who looked equally concerned. "I don't know," he replied, his voice low. "But we have to keep moving. We can't let fear stop us." Elysia nodded, steeling herself against the growing darkness that surrounded them. The path twisted and turned, leading them into a cavern filled with swirling shadows and echoes of distant whispers. As they swam further into the cavern, Elysia began to hear the whispers more clearly, voices filled with sorrow and despair. "Elysia, Thalion, help us!" The voices called out to them, echoing through the water like a haunting melody. Elysia called into the darkness, her voice trembling. "What do you want?" The shadows coalesced, forming indistinct shapes of figures cloaked in darkness. "We are the lost souls of Atlantis," one voice echoed, filled with anguish. "We were once guardians like you, but we fell to the darkness. We seek redemption, but our power has been corrupted." Thalion moved closer to Elysia, his expression resolute. "We will not let the darkness consume us," he said firmly. "We are here to restore balance and protect Atlantis." The figures shifted, their forms swirling with despair. "You cannot fight the darkness," another voice warned, despair etched into its tone. "It will consume you as it did us." Elysia felt fear creeping into her heart, but she pushed it aside, drawing strength from Thalion's unwavering presence. "We are not afraid," she declared, her voice steady. "We will confront the darkness and reclaim the power of the source." The figures hesitated, their forms flickering in and out of focus. "You are brave, guardians," one voice said, its tone shifting from despair to a hint of hope. "But bravery alone will not save you. You must confront your own fears and doubts before you can harness the power of the source." "Show us the way," Thalion urged, determination burning in his eyes. "We are ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead." The figures paused, and a flicker of light illuminated the cavern, revealing a path lined with ancient stones etched with symbols of protection and power. "Follow this path," the first voice urged, a sense of urgency in its tone. "Face your fears and embrace the light within you. Only then can you awaken the true power of the source and protect your city from the darkness that threatens to consume it." Elysia and Thalion exchanged determined looks, their resolve solidifying. "We will do it together," Elysia said, her voice filled with conviction. "We will face our fears and awaken the power of the source." And with that, they began to swim down the path, their hearts steady with purpose. As they moved deeper into his speak, the cavern, the darkness pressed in around them, but Elysia felt a light within her growing stronger. The whispers of the lost souls faded, replaced by a steady rhythm that pulsed in time with her heart. She could feel the energy of the source flowing through her, guiding her forward. The path led them to a chamber filled with shimmering water, a pool that glowed with an otherworldly light. Elysia and Thalion approached the pool, feeling an irresistible pull, drawing them closer. "This is it," Thalion said, awe filling his voice. "This is where we awaken the power of the source." Elysia nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. "We have to dive in together," she said, glancing at Thalion. "We have to embrace the power as one." Thalion smiled, his eyes filled with determination. Together, always. Taking each other's hands, they stepped into the glowing pool, the water enveloping them in a warm embrace. As they submerged, the light of the source surged around them, wrapping them in a cocoon of energy and warmth. Elysia felt the power of the ocean coursing through her, awakening a strength she had never known, igniting a fire within her soul. In that moment, visions flooded her mind, images of Atlantis, of her people, of the struggles they faced against the encroaching darkness. She saw the beauty of her homeland, the laughter of children, the resilience of her community. But she also saw the shadows creeping in, the threat of destruction looming ever closer, the very essence of their city at stake. "We cannot let this happen," she thought fiercely, determination surging within her. "Elysia!" Thalion's voice broke through the visions, grounding her in the present. "We can't let the darkness win." Elysia nodded, her heart swelling with determination. "We will protect our home. We will fight for Atlantis." As they swam deeper into the light, Elysia felt the energy of the source surging within her, filling her with strength and clarity. She could feel the bond between her and Thalion deepening, their hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of the ocean. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with, united in their mission and unwavering in their resolve. Suddenly, a powerful surge of energy erupted from the pool, enveloping them in a brilliant light. Elysia felt herself being lifted, the water swirling around her like a tempest. The energy pulsed through her, igniting every fibre of her being. She was no longer just Elysia. She was a guardian of Atlantis, a protector of the ocean, and she embraced her role with every ounce of her strength. In that moment of awakening, Elysia understood her purpose. She was meant to be a bridge between her people and the ocean, to restore balance and harmony. The source was not just a power to be wielded, it was a living entity, a force of nature that required respect and understanding. "We are not just fighting for ourselves," she thought, her resolve solidifying. "We are fighting for everyone who calls Atlantis home." As the light began to fade, Elysia and Thalion found themselves back in the cavern, the shimmering pool now glowing softly. They looked at each other, their eyes filled with wonder and determination. "We did it!" Thalion breathed, awe evident in his voice. "We awakened the power of the source." Elysia nodded, her heart full of hope and strength. "And now we must use it to protect Atlantis." Together, they turned to face the path leading back to the surface, ready to embrace their destiny as guardians of Atlantis. With newfound strength and purpose, Elysia and Thalion swam toward the light, the echoes of their journey resonating in their hearts. They were no longer just two young adventurers. They were protectors of their city, bound by the power of the ocean and the love they shared for their home. As they ascended toward the surface, Elysia felt a sense of peace wash over her. They were ready to confront whatever darkness awaited them, united by their bond and the strength of the source. Atlantis was counting on them, and together they would rise to the challenge. At last, they broke the surface of the water, emerging into the warm light of the sun. Elysia gasped for air, the salty breeze filling her lungs, invigorating her spirit. The ship loomed ahead, the crew waiting anxiously at the railings, their faces filled with concern and anticipation. Captain Dorian stepped forward, relief flooding his features when he saw them. "Elysia, Thalion," he called, his voice filled with warmth. "We were beginning to worry. What happened in there?" Elysia exchanged a quick glance with Thalion, a shared understanding passing between them. They had much to explain, and yet they felt transformed by their experience, ready to take on the world. "We awakened the power of the source," Elysia said, her voice steady and filled with conviction. "And we will use it to protect Atlantis from the darkness that threatens our home." The crew erupted in cheers, their voices mingling with the sound of the waves lapping against the ship. Elysia felt a surge of pride swell within her, knowing they were all united in their mission. Elysia and Thalion climbed aboard, the warmth of the sun washing over them, a stark contrast to the depths they had just traversed. Captain Dorian greeted them with a firm handshake, his expression serious yet proud. "You have done something remarkable. The strength of your bond and the power of the source will guide us in the challenges ahead." As they gathered on deck, Elysia took a moment to look out over the ocean, the vast expanse stretching before them, a world of possibilities waiting to be explored. She felt the energy of the source pulsing within her, a reminder of the responsibility she now carried. "We must prepare for what's to come," she said, her voice filled with determination. "The darkness will not stand idle while we harness this power." Thalion nodded, his expression resolute. "We need to gather our allies and strengthen our defenses. Together, we can face whatever challenges lie ahead." Elysia felt a renewed sense of purpose as she looked around at the crew, each face reflecting the same determination she felt in her heart. "Then let's set sail for Atlantis," Elysia declared, her voice rising above the sound of the waves. "We will rally our people and prepare to stand against the darkness. The ocean is with us, and together we will protect our home." With a roar of agreement, the crew set to work, hoisting the sails and preparing the ship for the journey ahead. As they sailed toward Atlantis, the sun began to sink low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Elysia stood at the bow, her heart racing with anticipation, knowing that they were on the precipice of a great battle. The ocean stretched before them, a shimmering tapestry of hope and possibility, and she felt the power of the source coursing through her veins, a reminder of what they were fighting for. With Thalion by her side, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. They were not just two young adventurers anymore. They were guardians of Atlantis, destined to protect their city and restore balance to the world. Together, they would rise to the challenge, united by their love for each other and their unwavering commitment to their home. As the Star Seeker sliced through the waves, Elysia stood at the bow, the salty breeze whipping through her hair. The sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the vast expanse of water. But the beauty of the moment was overshadowed by the weight of their impending challenge. With every passing moment, the power of the source pulsed within her, a constant reminder of the responsibility she now bore. It was a power that felt both exhilarating and daunting, and Elysia knew that they were on the precipice of a monumental confrontation. Thalion joined her, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We've come so far, Elysia. We awakened the source, and now we're on our way to rally our people. Together, we can face whatever darkness comes our way." His voice was steady, laced with the conviction that had anchored her through their journey. Elysia felt a warmth in his words, a bond that seemed to grow stronger with each challenge they faced. Elysia turned to him, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I know we can do this, but I can't shake the feeling that something is coming, something dark. The ocean has been restless ever since we awakened the source. The unease that had settled in her gut since their encounter with Seraphai returned, and she felt the weight of the responsibility they bore. It was as though the ocean itself was warning them of the storm that lay ahead, both literally and figuratively. As they sailed toward Atlantis, the crew busied themselves with preparations. Captain Dorian barked orders, ensuring that every member of the crew was ready for whatever lay ahead. The atmosphere on deck was charged with anticipation, a palpable energy that thrummed in the air. Alicia could sense the determination of her fellow sailors, each one aware of the importance of their mission. They were not just navigating the seas, they were carrying the hopes of an entire city on their shoulders. Hours passed, and as dusk fell, the sky darkened with ominous clouds that rolled in from the horizon, blotting out the last rays of sunlight. The wind picked up, and the once gentle waves began to swell, transforming into choppy swells that rocked the ship. Alicia's heart raced as she glanced at Thalion. "We need to be careful. This doesn't feel like an ordinary storm." "Let's get below deck and prepare for turbulence," Thalion suggested, and together they made their way to the ship's interior. The crew worked quickly, securing cargo and ensuring that everything was in place for the approaching tempest. Alicia could hear the sound of the wind howling outside, a sinister whisper that sent shivers down her spine. As they gathered in the cabin, Captain Dorian addressed the crew. "Listen up. A storm is brewing, and we need to be ready. We have a long journey ahead, and we cannot let anything deter us from our mission. Stay focused, and we'll navigate through this together." His voice was strong, a beacon of leadership that steadied the crew's nerves, instilling a sense of unity among them. Alicia sat beside Thalion, her thoughts racing. "What if the storm is not just a natural occurrence?" she mused, glancing at him. "What if it's a manifestation of the darkness that threatens Atlantis?" Thalion's brow furrowed as he considered her words. "It's possible. The source is powerful, and it seems to have awakened something in the ocean. We must stay vigilant." As the storm outside intensified, lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the cabin for brief moments as thunder echoed like a warning bell. The ship rocked violently, and Alicia felt a surge of anxiety. "What if we can't make it through this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Thalion took her hand, squeezing it gently. "We will make it through, Alicia. We have each other, and we have the power of the source on our side." Just then, a loud crash resonated from above, and the cabin shook as the ship was tossed by the waves. "Everyone, hold on," Captain Dorian shouted, his voice rising above the roar of the storm. Alicia and Thalion braced themselves against the wall, the sound of the tempest raging outside filling their ears, accompanied by the creaking of the ship as it battled the elements. "Stay calm," Dorian commanded. "We're trained for this. Keep your footing and help each other." The crew sprang into action, moving with practiced precision, securing themselves and the ship against the fury of the storm. Alicia's heart raced as she felt the ship tilt precariously, the sensation of weightlessness taking over for a moment before gravity pulled her back down. "Alicia!" Thalion shouted over the noise. "We need to do something. We can't just wait it out." Alicia nodded, her mind racing. "You're right. We can use the power of the source to help guide us through this, but we must be careful not to let our fear take control." Alicia closed her eyes, reaching deep within herself to connect with the energy of the source. She could feel it swirling around her, a warm light amidst the chaos. "I can sense the ocean's energy," she said, her voice steadying as she focused. "It's angry, but it's also scared. It knows something is wrong." The connection was both exhilarating and daunting, as if the very essence of the ocean was calling out to her for assistance. Thalion's eyes widened with realization. If the ocean is scared, then it's reacting to a threat. We need to channel the power of the source to calm it, to show it that we are allies, not enemies. Alicia felt a surge of determination. "Together, we can do it." They stood side by side, focusing their energy, hands clasped tightly. Alicia closed her eyes, visualizing the light of the source flowing through her, filling her with strength and purpose. "Let the ocean know we're here to protect it," she whispered, her voice a soft chant amidst the storm. She felt Thalion's presence beside her, grounding her as they harnessed their combined energy. As they concentrated, a brilliant light began to radiate from their joined hands, illuminating the cabin. The energy pulsed with a rhythm that matched the heartbeat of the ocean, a soft but steady thrum that filled the air with hope. Elysia felt the power of the source surging within her, igniting a fire that burned away her fear. With each heartbeat, the light grew brighter, spilling out into the surging cabin and into the tempest beyond. The light burst forth, spilling into the cabin and out into the raging tempest. Elysia could feel the ocean responding, its turbulent energy shifting as the light spread across the water's surface. The waves began to calm, the winds softening in response to the power they unleashed. Elysia felt a sense of purpose wash over her, a realization that they were not merely fighting against the storm, they were working in harmony with the ocean itself. "Keep going," Thalion urged, his voice filled with determination. "We can do this." Elysia poured every ounce of her energy into the light, feeling it pulse and ripple, reaching out to the ocean beyond. The storm responded, the clouds parting slightly, allowing glimpses of the stars to shine through. It was as if they had tapped into an ancient force, one that recognized their intentions and responded in kind. Suddenly, the ship lurched violently again, and Elysia stumbled, losing her focus. "Elysia!" Thalion shouted, reaching out to steady her. "Stay with me. We can't lose this connection." Gritting her teeth, Elysia closed her eyes once more, anchoring herself to the energy of the source. She could feel Thalion beside her, his strength bolstering her own. With renewed resolve, she focused on the light, calling upon the power of the source with every fibre of her being. The energy surged, brightening and expanding, flooding the cabin with a golden glow. Outside, the storm began to dissipate as the waves calmed, the winds lessening, and the dark clouds breaking apart, revealing a patch of clear sky overhead. As the tempest faded, the ship stabilized, and the crew erupted into cheers, their voices mingling with the sound of the sea. Captain Dorian, his face alight with pride and relief, looked at Elysia and Thalion. "You did it! You calmed the ocean." His voice was filled with awe, and the crew gathered around them, their expressions a mix of admiration, gratitude. Elysia felt tears of relief welling in her eyes as she and Thalion shared a victorious glance. "We couldn't have done it without each other," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "The power of the source is with us, and together we can face whatever comes our way." Thalion nodded, his grip on her hand tightening, a smile breaking through the tension that had gripped them. As the storm clouds dissipated and the stars began to twinkle overhead, Elysia felt a renewed sense of hope. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, united by their bond and the power of the source. But she knew in her heart that this was only the beginning. The true test awaited them, and they had to prepare for the challenges that lay ahead. "Let's get back on course," Captain Dorian instructed, his voice steady and commanding. "We need to reach Atlantis and prepare for what lies beyond the horizon." The crew sprang into action, working together to navigate the ship. As the last remnants of the storm faded away, they adjusted the sails, their movements efficient and purposeful, a well-oiled machine that thrived on teamwork and determination. Elysia and Thalion remained at the bow, gazing out at the horizon. "We're almost there," Elysia whispered, her heart racing with anticipation. "Atlantis is waiting for us." Thalion nodded, his jaws set with determination. "And we will be ready. We'll gather our people and prepare for the battle to come." The weight of their mission hung heavily in the air, but the bond between them provided a sense of comfort. As they sailed toward Atlantis, the ocean gradually transformed, the waters becoming a deep, vibrant blue that shimmered under the moonlight. Elysia could see the faint outline of their city in the distance, its towers rising majestically above the sea, illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns flickering in the twilight. The sight filled her with a swell of emotion, a mix of joy, nostalgia, and an unwavering resolve to protect her home. With the stars shining brightly above and the ocean calm beneath them, Elysia felt the power of the source coursing through her, a constant reminder of the strength they held. They were not just adventurers anymore, they were guardians of Atlantis, destined to protect their home from the encroaching darkness. As the ship approached the harbour, Elysia could see the streets of Atlantis bustling with activity, the familiar sounds of laughter and conversation wafting through the air. Her heart swelled with pride as she thought of the people who called this city home. They were vibrant, resilient, and worthy of protection. She vowed to do everything in her power to keep them safe. When they finally docked, the crew sprang into action, tying the ship securely to the pier. Elysia felt a rush of adrenaline as she stepped onto the solid ground of her beloved city, the familiar scent of salt water and sea breeze filling her lungs. "We need to gather the council and inform them of what we've learned," she said, her voice firm. Thalion nodded, his expression serious. "We'll need their support to prepare for what's coming." As they made their way through the bustling streets, Elysia could feel the energy of the city surrounding her, its heartbeat resonating with her own. The people of Atlantis were unaware of the storm that had just passed, both literal and metaphorical. She caught snippets of conversations, laughter, and the joyful sounds of children playing, all of which filled her with warmth. Yet, she also felt a sense of urgency pressing upon her. They needed to act quickly. When they reached the council chambers, Elysia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the meeting ahead. The council was composed of the wisest and most respected leaders in Atlantis, each one a guardian of their people in their own right. She could feel the weight of their expectations upon her shoulders as she stepped into the room. Elysia, Thalion. Councillor Meridia greeted them with a warm smile, her silver hair catching the light. "What news do you bring? We were concerned for your safety." Her tone was filled with genuine warmth, but Elysia could sense the underlying tension in the room. The council members were aware of the changes in the ocean, and they had been waiting for news. "We have much to discuss," Elysia began, her voice steady as she faced the council. "We awakened the source, but in doing so, we also awakened something dark within the ocean. It reacted violently, and we faced a storm that threatened to tear our ship apart." Gasps filled the room, and the council members exchanged worried glances. "Is it possible that the darkness has returned?" Councillor Eldrin asked, his brow furrowed. "We thought it had been vanquished long ago." Elysia nodded, her heart heavy. "I fear it has. The source is powerful, and it seems to have stirred something deep within the ocean, a darkness that seeks to manipulate that power for its own ends." Councillor Meridia stepped forward, concern etched across her features. "What do you propose we do? We cannot let fear dictate our actions, but we must prepare for the worst." Elysia felt a surge of determination. "We need to rally our people, strengthen our defenses, and prepare for a confrontation. The darkness will not wait for us to be ready." The council members exchanged thoughtful looks, and Elysia could see the weight of the decision settling upon them. "We must unite as one," she continued, her voice rising with passion. "Our strength lies in our unity. The ocean is our ally, and we must show it that we are worthy of its protection." After a moment of silence, Councillor Eldrin spoke up. "Elysia is right. We must gather our forces, both land and sea, and prepare to face whatever comes our way. We will not allow fear to take hold of our city." Nods of agreement rippled through the Mester chamber, a sense of resolve filling the air. "Then let us begin," Councillor Meridia declared. "We will summon the leaders of each district and prepare for a gathering. Our people must be informed and united in this fight." Elysia felt a wave of relief wash over her as the council began to mobilize, each member taking action to prepare for the challenges ahead. As the meeting adjourned, Elysia and Thalion stepped outside, the cool night air washing over them. "We did it," Thalion said, a smile breaking through the tension. "We've taken the first step toward preparing Atlantis for the darkness." Elysia nodded, her heart still racing. "But we have so much more to do. We need to ensure that our people are ready for the fight that lies ahead." "Together, we can face anything," Thalion replied, his voice filled with conviction. They exchanged determined glances, both aware that the path ahead would not be easy, but they were prepared to face it together. The bond they shared had been forged in the fires of adversity, and it would guide them through whatever challenges awaited them. As they walked through the streets of Atlantis, Elysia felt a renewed sense of purpose. The city was alive with energy, and she could feel the heartbeat of her home resonating within her. They were not just fighting for themselves, they were fighting for every citizen of Atlantis, for the future of their city, and for the preservation of the harmony that had existed for generations. "I can feel the strength of the source within us," Elysia said, glancing at Thalion. "It's a reminder of what we're fighting for." Thalion nodded, his expression serious yet hopeful. "And it's a reminder that we're not alone. The ocean is with us, and so are our people." As they prepared for the gathering, Elysia took a moment to reflect on their journey. They had come so far, overcoming obstacles and challenges, that had tested their strength and resolve. But now, they stood on the brink of something greater, a battle that would determine the fate of Atlantis. With the stars shining brightly overhead and the ocean calm beneath them, Elysia knew they were ready for whatever awaited them. The gathering storm had tested their resolve, but it had also strengthened their bond. Together, they would face the challenges ahead, united in purpose and driven by the love they shared for their city and each other. The journey to Atlantis was not just about confronting the darkness. It was about embracing the light within themselves and fighting for the future of their home. Elysia took a deep breath, feeling the power of the source resonating within her, ready to guide them through the trials to come. The sun rose over Atlantis, casting a warm glow on the city as Elysia and Thalion made their way to the central plaza, where the council had summoned the citizens for an urgent gathering. The streets were alive with activity, the air buzzing with conversations as people exchanged worried glances and hushed whispers. Elysia could feel the tension in the atmosphere, a palpable fear that hung over the city like a storm cloud. But beneath that fear lay a spark of hope, ignited by the potential of their collective strength. As they approached the plaza, Elysia took a moment to admire the grandeur of her home. The magnificent spires of Atlantis rose majestically against the backdrop of the clear blue sky, their surfaces glimmering in the sunlight. Colourful banners fluttered in the breeze, each one representing a different district of the city. Elysia felt a surge of pride at the sight. Atlantis was a vibrant tapestry of cultures, history, and resilience. "Look at everyone," Thalion said, his voice barely above a whisper. "They're all here, ready to stand together." Elysia nodded, her heart swelling with emotion. "We must show them that they are not alone. Together, we can face any darkness that threatens our home." As they entered the plaza, the crowd began to quiet, turning their attention toward the raised platform where the council members stood. Councillor Meridia stepped forward, her silver hair glinting in the sunlight. "Citizens of Atlantis," she called, her voice steady and commanding. "Thank you for gathering here today. We face a grave threat, one that seeks to unravel the very fabric of our city." Elysia and Thalion exchanged a glance, feeling the weight of the moment. This was it. This was the time to rally their people and prepare them for the challenges ahead. Elysia felt the power of the source pulsing within her, a reminder of the strength they held together. "We have received troubling news," Meridia continued, her gaze sweeping over the crowd. "The source of our ocean has been awakened, but in doing so, it has stirred something dark and powerful from the depths. We have reason to believe that a force of malevolence seeks to exploit this power and bring chaos to our beloved city." A murmur rippled through the crowd, a mixture of fear and concern. Elysia stepped forward, feeling the urge to speak. "I understand your fears," she began, her voice rising above the whispers. "But we are not helpless. We have the power of the source on our side, and if we unite, we can confront this darkness together. We are guardians of Atlantis, and we must stand strong in the face of adversity." The crowd fell silent, their eyes fixed on her as she spoke. Elysia could see their apprehension, but she also saw flickers of hope in their expressions. "We have faced challenges before," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "We are a city built on resilience, on the strength of our community. We must rally together, gather our forces, and prepare to protect what we hold dear." Councillor Eldrin stepped forward, nodding in agreement. "Elysia speaks the truth. The power of the source is within us all. We must awaken that power and use it to defend our home. Each of you has a role to play in this fight. Whether you are a warrior, a healer, or a scholar, your contributions are vital to our success." The crowd began to murmur again, this time in agreement. Elysia could feel the energy shifting, a sense of determination rising among the people. "We will not stand idly by while darkness threatens our future," she exclaimed, her voice ringing with conviction. "We will gather our strength, forge alliances, and prepare for the battle that lies ahead." A roar of approval erupted from the crowd, echoing through the plaza. Elysia felt her heart race with excitement as she looked around at the faces of her fellow citizens, each one reflecting a renewed sense of purpose. They were ready to fight, ready to protect their home. "Now is the time to act," Councillor Meridia declared, her voice cutting through the cheers. "We will divide into groups to address our strategy and prepare our defences. Each district will contribute its unique strengths, and together we will form a united front. We will not let the darkness take our city. Elysia and Thalion joined the other council members in organizing the citizens into groups, each one focused on a specific task. Elysia found herself with a group of young warriors eager to train and prepare for battle. She felt a surge of pride as they looked to her for guidance, their eyes filled with determination and excitement. "All right, everyone," Elysia called, her heart pounding with enthusiasm. "We need to hone our skills and prepare for whatever challenges await us. We'll train together, build our strength, and learn to fight as one. Remember, it's not just about individual skill, it's about our unity as protectors of Atlantis." The warriors cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. They began to practice their formations, weapons in hand, while Elysia demonstrated techniques she had learned from the experienced fighters in Atlantis. Thalion watched from the sidelines, his pride evident as he observed her leading the group with confidence and grace. Elysia felt alive as she trained alongside the warriors, their energy fueling her own. Each swing of her sword, each shout of encouragement from her comrades, reminded her of the importance of their cause. They were fighting not just for themselves, but for the future of their city, for the generations to come. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the plaza, Elysia took a moment to catch her breath. She looked around at the bustling activity, the city alive with purpose and resolve. "We can do this," she whispered to herself, feeling the power of the source resonating within her, strengthening her resolve. Later that evening, as the stars twinkled overhead, the council gathered once more to strategize. Elysia and Thalion joined Councillor Meridia and Eldrin, each one bringing their insights to the table. "We need to fortify our defenses," Eldrin said, his brow furrowed, in concentration. "If the darkness is indeed coming for us, we must be ready to protect our city." "Agreed," Meridia replied. "We should also reach out to the neighboring islands for support. We cannot fight this battle alone. We need allies who understand the stakes." Elysia nodded, her heart racing at the thought of uniting the surrounding territories. "I can go," she offered. "I can speak to the leaders of the nearby islands, share our plight, and call for their assistance." Thalion's eyes shone with pride. "I'll go with you. We can strengthen our alliances and gather more warriors to join our cause." Elysia felt a rush of gratitude for his unwavering support. "Together, we can rally the forces we need. The more we unite, the stronger we will be." As they finalized their plans, Elysia felt a surge of hope swelling within her. They were guardians of Atlantis, bound by duty and love for their home. Together, they would face the darkness, standing shoulder to shoulder against the threat that loomed on the horizon. "Let us prepare for tomorrow," Meridia said, her voice firm. "We will need every ounce of strength we can muster. Tonight, let us rest and gather our thoughts. Tomorrow, we embark on a journey that will define the fate of our city." Elysia nodded, her heart filled with determination. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she also knew that they were not alone. The strength of Atlantis resided within each citizen, and together they would rise to meet whatever darkness threatened their future. As the council meeting adjourned, Elysia and Thalion stepped outside, the cool night air refreshing against their skin. "We'll make it through this," Thalion said, his voice steady. "We're stronger than we know, and we have the power of the source on our side." Elysia smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude for his unwavering support. "We will fight for our home, for our people. Together, we'll face the darkness and protect what we love." With their resolve renewed and their spirits high, they walked through the streets of Atlantis, ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead. The stars shone brightly in the sky, a reminder of the light that would guide them through the darkness. Elysia felt the pulse of the source within her, a constant reminder of their strength and unity. No matter what awaited them, they would stand together as guardians of Atlantis, ready to protect their city and fight for the future.